Good morning, Sheila. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Wayne. I'm very good today. How about yourself?
I am having fun. It is the 4th of July, and
Yes, it
I,
is.
I certainly want to wish all of our listeners and those who celebrate the 4th a
Mhm.
happy 4th of July. So, whether you're having picnics, fireworks, family gatherings, or friends just get together, hey, be happy and be safe, all right?
Amen. Good.
And
Yes.
welcome to our listeners to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we explore the fascinating world of verbs and their impact on our daily lives. Join us each week, everyone, as we delve into the different ways that verbs shape our languages and influence our activities, as we attempt to make a positive difference in our world, one verb at a time. And Sheila, I understand you have a trivia question for us today.
I do. It is related to our word of the day, which is to present. And
Ooh,
so here is my question.
okay.
Starting out with saying that the first Academy Awards were given in 1929. They didn't call them Oscars yet. So, who was presented with the very first Academy Award for Best Actor in 1929? And who was presented with the very first Academy Award for Best Actress in 1929?
Ah, okay. Are these silent movies or are these
They
with
were silent at the time,
aha, okay.
right?
Hmm. I'm trying to think. Okay. Well, and we
Okay.
will get that answer at the end of the show, correct?
Yes.
Alrighty. And Sheila, how can our listeners contact you
Oh,
with
thank you,
questions or
Wayne.
comments?
Yes, Zeke and Sheila at yahoo.com.
And I can be reached at Wayne at mindsyncing.com. That's MindSyncing.com. So again, feedback. We're looking for feedback. Anyone who has complaints or dirty words, send them to me. if you have compliments and all kinds of other things, send those to Sheila and Zeke.
we share all feedback.
And what did you come up with definitions for present?
I'm just going to give two quick ones. The first is to give formally or ceremonially, excuse me. And the second is to offer or express something in speech or writing.
Oh, okay. And I have, as you well know, I probably have about five.
I was going to say nine. Okay.
To give, provide, or make something known, to introduce a radio or television show, or even a podcast. That wasn't in there, but I just threw that
No,
in.
I think that fits.
To introduce a person, to offer your thoughts, ideas, plans, etc. to others for them to consider. And my last one, to give a bill, check, or document to someone. Or, as you said, an Oscar or an
Right,
Academy
right,
Award.
right.
Yes. And when we came up with present, what was your thoughts? Where'd you go?
Well, first of all, this is such a good word to get confused with if you're not a native American English speaker, because it's both a noun and a verb,
Aha.
and they're spelled the same. So when you're using it as a noun, you emphasize the first syllable, present, excuse me. And when you're using it as a verb, you emphasize the second, present and
Aha.
present. So it's just one of those great fun words that makes our language so confusing.
And I love the first one, the noun. Ooh, yeah. Because I
Presents.
like to give presents. I
Yeah,
like to
and you're a good
give.
present giver. Yes. Are you a good present receiver?
You know, I like most people, many people. I'm pretty embarrassed when people give me things,
I thought so.
and so I try to shy away. I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't like any
Hmm.
of those kinds of things. So
Yeah,
anytime things come my way, I kind of hide and duck and
gotcha.
try to do different things. And
Okay.
and I like you, I but I immediately thought of speaking in front of people
Yeah.
because I still am, but not as much. I used to be terrified to speak in front of groups. And you know what? Today, I took that fear and, well, not last week, I took that fear and I did a lot of research to look to see how I might help others
Ah,
today with present, how to do that. So
super.
I have a few tips for individuals who struggle with presenting ideas to their boss or doing a
Uh-huh.
presentation to a large group. And
Great.
so my two articles corroborate that, and I'm ready to do those kinds of things. So how would you like to proceed today? You want to go first? You want me to go first? I can
Why
do
don't
it.
you go first? Because I have a hunch that we did some overlapping. So
Oh, good.
go
Okay.
ahead.
Then I'm
You
going to get into this
start us
quickly.
off. Good.
As I scour through the material here and there to find good tips, hey, it was not hard because there's a plethora of information out there, isn't it?
Right. Yes.
And as well as groups and organizations that are out there to help
Mm-hmm.
individuals who make a living helping individuals present.
Right.
There's many ways, many things to do to get those tips and to do better. One tip from me though, before I get into the articles that I researched, I I tell people, once you know what you're going to do, practice, practice, practice. Because if you don't, oh my goodness, you're going to be lost and you're not going to know what to say. There's going to be those long pregnant pauses, and you don't want to do that. You certainly don't want to do that. So now here's a way to practice, practice, practice. If you're at work, volunteer, or at school, volunteer to get in front of a crowd and accomplish presentations. If you know something, if even just an announcement that your boss is going to make, say, hey, can I do that? Can I make that? Just start out small, getting used to being in front of people and doing those kinds of things. And that can help you with the practice, 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 where you don't have to get into a lengthy presentation as your first attempt to practice and do one. So anyway, those are my tips. Now I did get two articles.
Okay.
And the articles are different sides of presentation. The first one is how to look and sound confident during a presentation.
Yes.
Oh, did you get that one too?
I want to hear what you have to say, and then I'll fill in around it.
By Carmine Gallo. Okay. And my second article was 20 Ways to Become a Great Radio Presenter by Mike Consolo. And so I said, all right, I'm going to talk about people standing in front of groups, because we've had individuals working from home a lot, and there's presentations on Skype or Zoom or what all those other apps, or just social media in itself, and people can hide behind, oh, my name is on there, not my picture, and so I'm good. But I want you to be able to get back out there in front of people and smoosh with the crowd. So that hits my liking of the article of how to look and sound confident. And I'm going to go to a couple real quick. How to look confident. Carmine says, make eye contact. And I know that's difficult for some individuals. And here's a tip that I always did. I always met people at the entrance as they were coming into the auditorium or the room that I was presenting. And I would shake hands, hopefully with most of them, but I would ask a few questions just so I can get to know them a little bit. And all of a sudden I have 3 friends in the audience or 5 friends in the audience. So I looked at them because I had already talked to them. And I can go ahead and do the presentation because I'm speaking with them and not necessarily anyone else. So I can make great eye contact with individuals, and people would say, oh, he's looking at, he knows that person's name. He knew my name too. I wonder if he's going to contact me or ask me a question. So I kind of put the audience on edge, and they were embraced with me because it was like, okay, what is he going to say about me? Because he's just talked about
it was personal. It was personal all of a sudden.
Exactly. So I liked that, what Carmine said, make eye contact. Number 2, he says, keep an open posture. Now, when I was teaching, I was taught never turn your back to the class while writing on the board.
Oh.
They said when you're speaking, speak to the group, stop and excuse yourself. Say, excuse me, I'm going to write something on the board, and then write on the board, and don't say anything while you're writing on the board.
Okay.
When you're finished, turn back around, and now you're ready to converse. because they said if you're talking while writing on the board, you're giving the impression that you don't want questions and
Oh.
that you are not engaged with the individuals because you can't see their reactions to the words that you're saying.
Now, how do you know that when you turn your back on them and you write on the board, how do you know they're still going to be there when you turn back around again?
Yeah, I have done that once, and I turned around and everybody's gone.
No, I was just kidding when I asked that.
Just kidding, but
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes, but that's all right. So I will stop there and I will turn to you because I'm interested. I am excited to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Well, the first one I've got here is started with a quote from Katy Perry. If you are presenting yourself with confidence, you can pull off pretty much anything.
Ooh.
And so the tangent I went off from that quote is how to present yourself with confidence. And so because sometimes you're in a room, as you were saying, where you don't know anybody. Sometimes, it's not been the best. Say your dog did what my dog this morning embarrassed you in front of everybody.
Oh no. What
So
did Zeke
no,
do?
uh,
Did he embarrass you
uh,
today?
he embarrassed himself. I'm kind of used to it now, but
Okay.
we were standing or walking alongside some people who were doing a little 5K race
Uh-huh.
for a good cause. And one woman asked if she could pet him, and he was happy. And he jumped up on her and he took her number off, right off of her jersey, and tried to walk off with it. So,
Oh no.
but that's a story for another day.
Maybe he
Uh,
wanted to run into the race too.
he definitely wanted something. So, so how to present yourself with confidence. Number one, introduce yourself. Be the first one to introduce yourself. And you've already referenced that when you're greeting people at the door.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes I sit around and say, "Oh my gosh, how do I get to know these people and act like it's your own living room? Like
Oh,
these people have come into your home."
I
And
like that.
so, yeah, because you're comfortable in your own home and you know how to be a good host. So introduce yourself. Oh, you're here with whatever. Number two, speak positively to yourself. And I have a great little example of that.
Ooh, I'm listening.
This this is something I heard a long time ago. If I can find where I just had that. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this story without reading it from the
Okay.
internet.
Okay.
A woman observed a mom going with a cart through the grocery store, and the daughter, the toddler in the cart, was having a bit of a fit, as toddlers can do, and
Mm.
was kind of screaming and ranting. And the mother said, "Sharon, we're just going to get a few more items here." And they keep on walking, and the baby's crying it louder. And Sharon, we're almost done here. We're about to get in line. And going through the line, and the baby's crying. "Sharon, as soon as we're done here, we're going to get out to the car, and this whole thing will be over." And this woman who was observing went up and said, I admire how you are being so calm with your daughter here, and helping her to stay calm by using calm words and not reacting." And the woman said, and it said something about the daughter Sharon. The woman said, "Well, thank you, but actually I'm Sharon."
Ooh.
So speak positively to yourself, even in negative situations.
I like
Then,
that.
yeah, then dress well, which was, I thought, interesting. And
Mm.
it isn't that you have to dress really formally, but dress in clothing that makes you feel good about yourself. And so maybe
Ooh.
it's a favorite color, maybe it's a favorite, something,
Yes.
whatever. But the idea is, how, the question is how to tell if something looks good on you, if people have complimented you on it. And that was the thing I loved most about going to the office, that I worked in one office that had a lot of females, and we would tell each other, "Oh, that looks great on you." It was the hardest thing to let go of when I left job. Set goals for yourself so that you have something to think of beyond the moment. Present yourself with confidence. After this, I'm going to go and, run that 5K race, or I'm going to go eat that
Yes.
donut, whatever
Yes.
rewards you. And eye contact was a big one, and celebrate your successes.
Mm.
And, sometimes it just is not a good experience. So set some time aside to evaluate it afterwards, recognize what went wrong and what you can do differently next time, and then get yourself out there again to have that next time so that you can practice the different response. And remember, words, even to yourself, are powerful tools because they can both disarm or inspire you. And that is recommendations from smallbusinessbc.ca.
Okay. Very
So,
nice.
presenting yourself with confidence.
Aha.
So, back to your next point.
Okay. Carmine says to eliminate filler words, much like
Oh,
like,
those are my favorite words.
and the dreaded one, you know.
Nice.
And so, yes, he says, take time to pause. And I thought, wow, okay. And you know what? I listen to a lot of individuals who do presentations.
Mhm.
And there are some that I just enjoy listening to because they go through all of what I'm seeing here in front of me
Mhm.
that Carmine wrote. I'm also remembering all the things that I've been taught, and I'm also remembering
Mhm.
some of the things that I've learned myself along the way.
Mhm.
And take time to pause is really huge. And he also gives a little story where he says, and sometimes you want to speed up because you want to, change the tone, you want to change the rhythm. He says you want to speed up and talk real quickly, and then at the critical moment you want to take a pause
Mm.
so that everybody leans in to hear
Mm.
what you have to say. And I learned another trick. Talk softly when you get to that pause point, because people will absolutely lean in and they'll stop doing what they're doing because they're saying, oh, he's speaking softly. I need to hear
Mm.
this. And then you say what it is that you have to say. And then you say, and that's it. And then they lean back and you're back into your normal rhythm or whatever. But those pauses, timed pauses, deliberate pauses, absolutely are worthy. They really are.
Mm.
And as I just said, he says vary your pace. I just talked about that. Now, when he says we have what's that how to look and sound confident, he now talks about there's 9 easy steps that will help you in your speaking game. So it cuts off the excess fluff and truly find out how to have fun with it. And I thought, what's this excess fluff? And he says, understand your speaking style first. So get comfortable, like you said, with your clothes, with your attire.
Yeah.
Be be comfortable in your attire. Say, hey, I like this shirt because, as you said, the color or whatever.
Mhm.
He says, understand your style. Be comfortable with your style, whatever that is.
Mhm.
Own it, embrace it,
Mhm.
do it. And if that's your style, then great. My style is, hey, if you tell me I have to stand behind a podium and read off a script,
Mm.
I'm done. I'm toast.
Mhm. Mhm.
I can't
Right.
do that because if you nailed my feet to the floor, because I'm moving around, I'm doing all kinds of things,
Right.
and and I can't speak without doing those kinds of things. I like to make gestures, and he says make gestures. But here's another trick. And did you ever play baseball or softball
In PE.
in PE? Okay. And so if I set a strike zone for the pitcher, do you know what that is? Where the ball must go below your shoulders and above
Oh,
your knees.
yes.
In
Yes.
in olden days, that's a long time ago. That's where the strike zone was.
Okay.
Now it's smaller. But Carmine kind of suggests make gestures within that strike zone,
Mm.
within a little box. Don't make wide gestures and big flamboyant ones because he says people don't believe that. That's not believable. Make small ones. It's much like
Ah.
your hands also have a rhythm and a tone. So if your hands are going way out to the sides, and I'm doing this right now, you can't see me, but they're stretched out way out to the sides. He says those are big flamboyant things, and people,
Mm.
I don't believe that. But if
So
they're
be like the weather person whose hands are at waist or above because that's when they're in the camera.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
And he says that also leads to minimizing the robo talk. And I'm like, what is this
What's
robot
a
talk he's
robot
talking about?
talk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He says that's that talk where you're reading off a script and it's boring, mundane, and da da
Oh,
da 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 da
yeah.
da, da, and people zone out.
Yeah.
So minimize that, which means know what you're going to present and
Mhm.
practice, practice, practice so that you
Mhm.
can do that. He says that you should be able to filter your words, and filter the fluff. Now, what is fluff? He says fluff is being off topic. Don't get off topic. We're talking about present today. Stick to present because people are saying, I came here to listen to present, and you're talking to me about video games. I don't want to hear about video games. I
Wait,
can't
let me
get.
scratch off the entire next page that I had written on to talk about. So, okay.
All right. He says, learn to how to let your guest shine. And I
Mm,
hope we do that. And you know what? Some of these are things that we can kind of go back and say, hey, are we doing these kinds of things?
right.
So when we have guests on the show, and I hope that we do, I hope that our guests that we've had say, yes, they felt like we let them shine or help them shine, because the show is not about us. It's about the guest at that time.
Yes.
And again, that goes to the fluff. So let's don't be talking about Wayne and Sheila. Let's be talking about Karen or Zach or whomever might Zeke, whomever
Right.
might be on the show. And the next couple, he says, work on your showmanship. Ooh,
Mm.
showmanship. It's a
But
one act play.
but he just said don't do flamboyant gestures. So define showmanship here.
All right. Showmanship. Here's my showmanship. And I'm gonna again another story of mine. I was in a group. I was talking to a group, and was asking the audience questions, and I was doing the gestures and things, and trying to have some humor. And this one young lady, because every time I asked them a question, I had them stand up. This one young lady was so nervous she couldn't stand up, but she wanted to
Oh,
ask a question.
okay.
So what did I do? I got off the stage. I
Mm,
went down to where she was sitting. There was a chair right next to her that was
mm-hmm.
empty. I sat in the chair and I said, "Hi, I'm Wayne." And I reached out and I shook her hand and I go, "And your name is?" And she told me. And I said, "Okay, talk to me. Just talk to me."
Mm-hmm.
And so she talked to me. Showmanship, he says, is basically being there for the audience
Okay.
and letting them know that you are not the most important person there. They are.
Interesting.
And provide that to them so that they can think that they are because they are. And the showmanship, bring everyone into the show.
Yeah.
It's not about you. I said, I like that. I obviously like that. The last one before I go to the next ones, before I go to the 20 ways to be a great radio presenter,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
he says, put yourself in new situations. And I think Sheila and I do that all the time.
Every week.
We're doing verbs every week here, and we're looking at different perspectives. So I'm hoping that we're doing that. So anyway, I've spoken too much. Your turn, please.
Well,
Save me.
I'm going to start with another quote. This is from Adam Cole, who's a professional wrestler. So he said, when I was in school, if I was talking as myself and I was presenting something as myself or having to answer a question, I was so nervous. I would get red in the face. I would feel sweaty. I hated it. But anytime I was performing, like if I was in a talent show or if it was through wrestling, I'm portraying or being someone else and I'm so comfortable. So that led me to ask, how can someone who's introverted perhaps act extroverted
Mm,
in a presentation or something? In this case, he just pretended he was someone else. So the first, I have just a list of a couple things here, but the first, this is from robinwaite.com, Waite, who's a
okay.
business coach. And she said, fake it till you make it. So
Ooh.
if you're, for instance, walking into a situation where there's socialization, people are meeting new people and socializing, take baby steps and pretend to enjoy it. Make a game for yourself ahead of time, like a list or a bingo card. Talk to someone who's wearing, a red tie or a red dress. Talk to someone or say hello to someone who's eating something,
Mm.
and then do a little mental checklist. And that makes it easier to approach them because you can check off your list there. So the second one was schedule time to relax, maybe before and afterwards, to refill your energy cup, especially if you're introverted. It takes a lot out of you to reach out and to even as I'm saying this, I'm putting my shoulders back like I'm going to march into a room. The next one you've already referenced, which is practice, practice, practice. And they suggested practicing in front of a mirror. For me, it has to be out loud if I'm giving a presentation or even introducing myself. But it's also handy for me to do it in front of my dog, who's a good watcher. And if he starts snoring, I know I've got to step up my
Oh no.
what I
Okay.
now know as showmanship here. So create an escape plan for yourself. So come up with a pre-planned exit strategy.
Ooh. Okay.
Maybe when you walk in the room, say hi to the host or hostess. I can only stay an hour because I've got a court
Mm.
date. I got to show up for
Yes.
my DUI, whatever.
I know you have never had a DUI,
I
so there
have
we go.
not had a DUI, but it doesn't have to be a real story here. Just some way where you have a
An
way
exit.
out when things are getting more uncomfortable. And separate from this, another way to get in a group where you can feel more comfortable is to attend a club that is centered around your hobby. I joined a textile engineering group, also known as a knitting group.
Okay.
And we talked about everything under the sun while we were working on our handwork. And so you didn't even have to establish eye contact. That was great. This last point is the most difficult. Most difficult. When you're in a room or socializing with a group, it is so tempting to pick up your phone and start scrolling, but put
Mm.
your phone down. Leave it in your pocket, leave it in your car. Don't pick up that phone because it's so tempting to ease yourself over to the side of a room and just start looking at and because I'm busy, I look busy here. Just start scrolling
Yes.
that phone. So that's how you can act extroverted when you are an introvert.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. The last point for Carmine, he says, be endlessly curious. I like
Ah,
that. I love
that's
that one.
good. Be a question asker. Good.
He says, always ask for feedback.
Mm.
And the last one he says is enjoy yourself. And I'm looking at the clock.
Yeah.
It's 26 minutes and 30 seconds. Ooh, so I'm going to go really quick with the
Okay.
with Mike here. Here's
Okay.
some tips from Mike.
Good.
This is about radio. He said, keep cool. Do your research. Ooh, I know that.
Mm.
Fail to prepare is preparing to fail. Professional and punctual.
Mhm.
Community focused. Paint pictures with words and never be boring.
Ooh.
I'm like, I am probably guilty of the last one. Never be boring, but anyway, that's it. And I'm looking at the clock. It's 27. What is the answer to your trivia question about the Academy Awards?
Presented best actor was given to a fella named Emil Jennings, a German, and he was great in the non-talking films, but had such a thick German accent in the talkies that his movie career was shortened. It was especially bad when he moved back to Germany and started acting in propaganda films for the Nazis.
Oh
So
no.
that was the end of his career.
Oh yeah.
The best actress was Janet Gaynor, who worked. So this is, remember, 1929. Her last television appearance was in 82, I think it was, or 84, where she was in The Love Boat, but she did a lot of plays,
Mm,
including On Golden Pond and Harold and Maude up through the 80s until she died after a car accident. So
excellent.
thank you. And Wayne, as always, I have learned so much from this verb, even though I have to say I didn't like it very much at first.
Well, thank you. And I again continue to learn. I love the thought. Be endlessly curious
I
because I
do
think
too.
we are. I know
I
we
know I
are.
am. Good.
Yes. All right.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
everyone.
Wayne. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thanks, Sheila. Happy 4th of July. Bye bye.
Bye bye.